A 17-year-old teenager in Virginia just got sentenced to 11 years in prison because of his support of ISIS. Now, he ran a pro-ISIS Twitter account, and he also helped one of his friends flee the United States to go to Syria in order to be part of ISIS. According to the Washington Post, Amin, Ali Amin is his name, pleaded guilty in June to conspiring to provide material support to terrorists, tweeted approximately 7,000 times from his apparently pro-ISIS account, which had more than 4,000 followers and has since been suspended. He also introduced his friend Reza to ISIS members online and helped the 18-year-old travel to join the militia in Syria. Now, prosecutors who described Amin as a prolific, sophisticated Islamic State supporter sought the maximum sentence of 15 years, but his defense attorneys asked for a 6-year, 3-month sentence. In the end, he got 11 years. So I guess the question is this sentence okay, considering what he did?
I don't think there's enough information in here. If this.
Okay, so we got a story here about a teenager who's supporting ISIS, who's raising money for ISIS, who's actively working for the Muslim terrorist organization known as ISIS. The name of this video is Pro-ISIS American Teen Guilty of Helping Terrorist Group. And I love how they make it the generic terrorist group. Could be anything. Let's not quantify it, let's not get specific. Maybe it's Muslim terror, maybe it's some other kind, it's just a terrorist group, that's all you need to know. So what do you think this panel of regressives are going to talk about in this video? The story is, there's a kid who's supporting ISIS in America, he got caught and he's going to jail. What do you think they're going to turn this conversation into? Just guess. Think about it right now. Ask yourself, what could they possibly bring up to mitigate this? How can they defend Muslims, muddy the water, and also maybe quick shout out to fuck white people? A quick fuck white people are racist. Do you think they could possibly steer this conversation in that direction? I'm excited to find out. Let's watch.
I would find someone supporting ISIS loathsome, but the KKK is loathsome.
That's exactly right.
And we allow them to speak, right?
Yes.
We allow them to say
Nazis in America.
Yeah,
you can't ban Nazis.
We allow the Nazis to say goddamn Jews, this, and that.
They march in Skokie, Illinois. What are you talking about?
We allow the KKK to say that blacks are inferior race and yada, yada, yada. Remember, he's 17. I mean, what a jackass, right?
Yeah.
That I'm fine
So they
with,
just declare someone, but they have to put them on the terrorist list. And if they're on the terrorist list officially, then that's a crime.
Something like that, yeah, probably.
But KKK's not on the terrorist list?
No, funny enough, they're not.
Who?
KKK.
That's a good point.
How about the American Nazis? They're not on the terrorist list?
No, the reason they're not on the list is because they're not committing violent terrorist acts right now that we know of, right? If so, there was the League of the South is a well-known racist group. If the League of the South was still lynching people, right, there's an argument to be made that they would be on the terrorist list. My guess is they wouldn't put them on the list because, I mean, they said Dylan Roof's not a terrorist. He went in and shot 9 people because of political reasons. He stated what his political reasons were. He shot them based on their race, and they're like, nope, not a terrorist, right? So this kid's a terrorist. He didn't kill anybody, right? But Dylan Roof is not a terrorist. So is there some double standard? Oh, of course there's a double standard. The double standard always drives me crazy. So Dylan Roof's not a terrorist,
right.
But this guy didn't kill 9 people, right? He did things that were bad, but he didn't kill 9 people. But he's a terrorist.
The frustrating thing,
ultimately, Dylan Roof will get more years than this kid. Let's not be confused about that.
Because they use the terrorist part when they need to use the terrorist part. They don't need to for Dylan Roof. Dylan Roof is going to get 9 life sentences.
Like this, right? So even if someone hasn't been charged with terrorism yet, the media will report a Muslim individual as a terrorist before those charges are even brought up. But when you have someone like Dylan Roof, that person isn't ever referred to as a domestic terrorist. People.
So you guys would somehow feel better if Dylan Roof, because I think that's a silly argument, but you'd feel better if Dylan Roof were called a terrorist.
No, Ben, let me frame it in a different way. Not using terrorists, not using Muslim. So here's where the double standards are relevant in terms of perception and how society acts. Dylan Roof kills 9 people in the church. He comes in, the judge says, let's talk about forgiveness. Right? Right? But why are we talking about forgiveness immediately when it comes to Dylan Roof? Because